What did you do with all your money that you were making from the bee business?
That was pretty easy. Went back in bees.
You think beekeeping was easier back then?
I never noticed it be particularly easy.
A lot of people want to get into bees now, Dad. What do you have for advice? My dad, Jon MacDonald, has kept bees his whole life. Our family business, MacDonald Honey Co, is one of the largest honey producers in New York State. I interviewed my dad and wanted to share our conversation. For the report, just kind of like how you got into bees and when that was and where and all that.
Well, we had a young minister that came from Canton, New York, and his father had bees. So he wanted to have a couple of hives when he came into his new parish. So we put them on our farm. And I'm watching from a semi-safe distance when he looked into them. I guess he piqued my interest. Maybe a couple of years later, a larger hobbyist put bees in the back of our farm. Most of them died. So I bought all of his dead equipment for $60. Then I bought some packages. I don't know what state they were from, but don't even remember how much they cost back then. They came in the U.S. mail. You can't get them that way now. And the bees were in a 3-pound package with a queen. Now I think about it, they might have been $6 a package. I remember where I installed them. We had a few hundred yards of split rail fence from prior 50 years, maybe. I put them in the place where the fence made it turn.
So you had your bees in that little corner, little windbreak?
Well, there was several corners, of course, as the fence went down the line. So I had some bees in those nooks. And later that summer, my father and I went and bought a used extractor over in Hewelton, New York. Brought that back and made a stand for it, secured it down, and I got an electric uncapping knife. I had a maple syrup barrel that I used for a settling tank, extract the honey, and I put it into that maple syrup barrel, and then I got a syrup gate for the bottom of that maple syrup barrel. Those were cast iron gates with a piece of brass for the cutoff. They were made by the Syracuse Stamping Company.
Is that tank galvanized?
No, they were cast iron.
You think beekeeping was easier back then?
I never noticed it be particularly easy. It's easier than milking cows, I remember that.
A lot of people want to get into bees now, Dad, as you noticed. What do you have for advice?
Find somebody that knows what they're doing and hang out with them a little bit.
Tell me about your schooling, Dad.
My mother wanted me to go to Canton Agricultural and Technical Institute in Canton, New York. And I wanted to go to Cornell, and it wasn't much of a battle, but I went to Cornell.
Did you find any books up there at Cornell? Beekeeping books?
Oh, yeah, eventually. I wasn't looking for them when I went there.
You studied under Dr. Roger Morse, didn't you?
Eventually, I took his introductory beekeeping class, and I inspected bees that one summer after the class.
New York State bee inspection.
Yep. And one rainy day, I went back to Cornell, applied for graduate school, and got accepted and got a internship all the same day.
Where was the internship at Cornell?
Yeah.
I see. That was at Dice Labs.
And I was working under Elton J. Dice from Ontario Agricultural College. But Roger was one of his students and was taken over as he retired.
I see. I remember I had fond memories of going to Cornell University for some of the New York State bee meetings when I was a kid.
Yep, there was a few there.
And I remember one day there was a smoker lighting contest there that I don't think I won it, but I remember participating in that. And I think it was around that same run of time where I noticed they had a cork board inside, and it seemed like every square inch of that cork board had an example of a stinging insect that was indigenous to the state of New York. And I remember just being kind of dumbfounded as to how diverse the group was.
Smoker lighting nowadays I like to do with the yellow torch from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Nap gas.
Yeah.
I love the nap gas. It's very hot and very fast.
What do you like for smoker fuel? Give me a list.
Well, some clean baler twine, not plastic. I think it's hemp. That has plenty of breathing room. Several guys are using the coffee bean bags from South America. They're made of hemp, I think. And it's a coarse weave, so you can get air up through it. Wood pallets are pretty good, I think, once you get them lit.
Yeah. Mix that in with a cotton t-shirt or something like that. So I got some, I have some questions about when you gave me my first beehive. I remember it was an 8-framer, and I put it on the bank of the brook out back there.
Yep.
I was 4 or 5 years old in there somewhere. And at that point, you had some 8-frame equipment, obviously. Did you dabble in that and then get out of it, or how did that happen that you even had that 8-frame? Because my recollection was all 10.
I bought some live hides from Paul Engelhart,
I see.
and they were 8-framers.
I see.
So I kept them as 8-frame for a few years.
Yeah.
That was before I was moving any bees south.
Yeah.
I wrapped them in tar paper in 2 or 3 locations up in north of Watertown there.
Yeah. Antwerp.
Yep. That was a little bit of Jefferson County.
A lot of the folks that are likely going to watch this video don't have the desire or the habit of moving the bees up and down the road too much. So they try to overwinter them in the north here. And that has some of its own hazards. I wanted to ask about some of the things that you would suggest that might help some of these folks overwinter bees in the northern climate.
Well, they gotta have an upper entrance so they can get in and out of the upper entrance. And I found a rim full of dry sugar on newspaper. Works out pretty well. the moisture from the hive goes up, it joins in the newspaper, moistens the sugar, and they can live on that if they run out of honey. Sometime in the spring, you might open up the hive and find that rim around the top there full of comb. To me, that sounds like success. That means the hive is alive, even though it's messy.
It was nearly 20 below zero a week ago here in Maine, and in this town of Gorham that I'm living in now, I have 3 hives. I left them 3 deep, and I pulled them all together so that they're side by side so that they could kind of help each other through it. And I checked on those hives this past Friday. We had a 50-degree day, and 3 out of 3 of those hives were alive. And so...
Do you have tar paper around them?
No, I did not wrap them. So I didn't really do anything too special with them, but I did feel like packing them up against each other should give them a little advantage that way. There's a lot of videos on YouTube and different social media. Seems people are fascinated with the swarming that happens with the bees, just like you and I are fascinated with it. Tell me roughly what your understanding is for when these bees swarm, when a hive reaches the spring. You've got an old queen in there, and that hive gets cramped. Take it from there, Dad, as to what the heck is going on with the swarm.
Well, they get crowded, it seems, and then the bees, in conjunction with the queen, will form a few queen cells, and when the hive swarms, the old queen takes off with a bunch of young new bees. If possible, that would be a good time to change that old queen.
If you took her out of that hive right there, you saw it coming. If you took her out of that hive, does that change the idea that they're going to swarm, or does that just continue?
It could change your opinion a little bit. You could take her out and put her in a cage, keep her in the hive, just to keep the other bees company.
Yeah. You clip her wings right there?
Yeah, you could clip her wings, even if she didn't want to be clipped.
Yeah, still can be clipped. That reminds me, you were doing some queen mutilation research with Dr. Morse there. I saw a paper that you were doing on that Melissa, your daughter, my sister, produced the other day. I didn't know you did any research like that on queen mutilation. What was that roughly?
Well, we're just clipping some queen wings, maybe cut their legs off, to see what the reaction of the bees would be, to see if they would go ahead and form queen cells, or what kind of reaction they would have.
Like forcing them into supersedure kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess that was it. I don't know if it made supersedure cells appear or not. She apparently has a paper. I don't think.
So tell me, when you got out of college, you were teaching high school for a bunch of years, math and science, and doing your bee thing over on the side. What did you do with all your money that you were making from the bee business?
That was pretty easy. Went back in bees.
Yeah.
All metal equipment.
Yeah. What were some of the major problems the bees had back then?
Well, getting through the winter was a major concern. And we had American foul brood and European foul brood.
When did you start moving them to the south, Dad? In the 70s sometime? I don't remember exactly when.
I think about a 73 Dodge 600. We got to the point of using that. Had a tailgate lift on it. Never sure that was a good idea, but in a couple of years' time, I bought a fixed up a way I could tow that tow trailer with that tailgate lift on there. So we bought the Bobcat and the trailer to carry it on up there in Chuckery Tire and Equipment Company. Tractors came into use. So we got clutches in the inside of the Bobcat, which made it a pretty rough as far as control. I remember my first day using it. I'm thinking, what the hell did I do this for? Because it was just real rough to try to control picking pallets up.
Yeah. They've come a long way, I know that.
The hydrostatics are amazing.
So I remember from our childhood bottling a lot of honey up there. It seemed like we were bottling 3,000 to 5,000 pounds of honey in 1 pound jars at least a few times every week. How did you get so established in that so quickly?
I got a couple of honey brokers over in Boston and Rhode Island and New York City. I say doing that was a little bit of stupidity because it never yielded that much profit. A lot of experience, though.
Yeah, pretty labor intensive. I remember having a lot of fond memories of extracting honey because it seemed like at the end of the day you actually did something when you had 5 or 7 barrels sitting there.
Getting bees to produce the honey is always a hard problem. Extracting never seemed to be a real difficulty to me.
No.
Get in the comb and then get it out. So a lot of the hobbyist beekeepers, the first thing they want to do is buy an extractor.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a beekeeper, you might as well buy bees. Spending honey is not a profit center.
A lot of extractors out there
Yep,
that somebody already bought.
yes indeed.
What do you think of the different mite issues that have come along, starting out with the tracheal mite?
Well, we treated the menthol or the tracheal mite with some menthol fumes. That was somewhat effective. But then the real problem was the next mite in line. The tracheal mite seemed to kind of disappear once we had our new mite.
What do you think? What do you think the best suggestion is for people that are into bees, into honeybees, new or old? What do you think the best suggestion is for dealing with the varroa mite that we have so commonly in our hives now?
Well, a lot of opinions about that. I think you just got to do something. May not be perfect. Of course, the hobbyists are looking for some organic method. Getting the queen to lay a frame full of drone brood is one organic method, because the tracheal might prefer the drone brood.
Varroa, right?
And you can set the drone frame out front and let the skunk eat it, or you can cut it with a knife, or you can freeze it.
I think those would all be considered mechanical control of your pest.
Those are all non-chemical ways of dealing with your mites.
Yeah.
You can open up some of that drone brood and get an idea how many mites you got in there by observation. They're nice and red and they stick right out, in case you don't believe you have them.
So in the 70s, you started moving your bees to the Carolinas, South Carolina. And then it wasn't too long after that, you started to truck your bees to overwinter them into Florida on the west shore of Lake Okeechobee. That migratory beekeeping was entirely different than the overwintering that you did early on.
Oh, for sure.
And that has its own hazards, doesn't it?
You'd have the possibility of making some honey, which I did one year. 2002, we had a banner year. We had 60-some barrels of orange honey. Came along at the same time as the highest price for wholesale honey that I'd experienced. That doesn't happen in agriculture too often. You don't get your best crop and your highest price in the same year.
What do you think about the packaged bee industry, Dad? A lot of people buy packages in the spring. I know it's hard to say exactly, but a packaged bee versus a nucleus colony. If you were going to spend a little money, I know the nucleus colony is going to cost you a little more.
Yeah, the nucleus hive was 2 to 3 good frames of brood is a better deal than the package. Because then when they hatch out of the cell, they're fresh bees. While the packaged bees might be old and shop-worn. And the nuke you can return the box. And whoever was making it up can use the box again.
Yeah. So you and I were chit-chatting one year about pesticides. Well, probably every year. And you were saying that you were convinced that as a world we're dependent on pesticides to grow our crops. And
I think if we suddenly cut off pesticides, the world would be in a bad situation for feeding itself.
do you think a lot of our it's not just honeybees now, but they've identified decline in various bee populations. Do you think that has to do with our pesticide habit?
I think it's not the sole cause, but certainly an auxiliary cause.
Did you ever join one of those clubs?
Yeah, I got to be president of one all in one night.
Good timing, huh?
Yeah, they invited me down to speak at the Cooperative Extension. And then they all say, rah, 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 let's form a club.
Oh, I see. So you were
In fact, you can be president.
the founder too.
So I got to be president all in one night.
Huh. I like that story, Dad. Hey, it's been great chit-chatting with you here. I learned a bunch of stuff.
Some of it might have been worthwhile.
I'll get back to you and let you know. All right. I love you.
I love you.
Appreciate the
Good
chat.
luck with your project there,
Okay, Dad. Thank you.
you and your partner.
Okay. Yeah. Bye now.